Some countries are vast, others are powerful, but the Netherlands, it's neither of those, and somehow far more. This is a land born from water, shaped by wind, built with hands, and carried forward by vision, where tulips bloom in the cold, canals reflect entire cities, and windmills guard the land like sentinels of time. This is not just a place on the map. It's a story, and you're about to travel through it. Amsterdam, a city that doesn't just float on water, it floats on history, art, and charm. With more canals than Venice and more bikes than people, it's a living postcard where Rembrandt once painted and modern cafes hum with quiet conversation. Step inside the Rijksmuseum and you step back centuries. Wander the Jordaan district and you'll feel poetry in the air. In Amsterdam, the past isn't preserved in glass. It's lived daily. If Amsterdam is the past, Rotterdam is the future, bold, edgy, and unapologetically modern. Bombed in World War II, this city rebuilt itself not with sorrow, but with vision. Today, it's an architectural playground. From the surreal cube houses to the sweeping Markthal, Rotterdam looks like it came from tomorrow. The harbor is the largest in Europe. But the soul? It's still Dutch, practical, creative, and always moving forward. Just an hour east, the skyscrapers disappear and the trees take over. Welcome to De Hoge Veluwe, a vast park where nature and art live side by side. Here, red deer roam, pine forests breathe slowly, and nestled in the heart lies the Kruller-Miller Museum, with Van Goghs as wild as the woods around them. It's a canvas of nature, painted by time and framed by silence. The Netherlands has always fought water, but Kinderdijk was where it began. 19 giant windmills built in the 18th century still stand guard here. They weren't designed for postcards. They were built to survive, to push water out, to keep the land dry. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Kinderdijk is living proof of how the Dutch turned danger into beauty. Each blade spins a story of survival, ingenuity, and quiet defiance. In the heart of the Netherlands lies a city that flows beneath itself, Utrecht, where canals run not beside the streets, but under them. Here, wharf cellars built centuries ago have turned into cozy cafes, jazz bars, and bookstores, all tucked quietly beneath the bustle. Above it all towers the Dom Tower, the tallest church in the country. Not just a landmark, but a watchful eye over a city that blends the medieval with the modern. It's not as loud as Amsterdam, but it lingers with you longer. Known as Den Haag, The Hague is where kings reign, laws are written, and justice travels across borders. Home to the Dutch royal family, the International Court of Justice, and the seat of parliament. This city isn't just elegant, it's global, but it's not all politics. Stroll through the Mauritshuis Museum, and you'll meet Vermeer's girl with a pearl earring. Just a tram ride away, the beaches of Scheveningen offer sea breeze to balance the seriousness. The Hague is power, peace, and poetry in motion. If rivers could whisper secrets, they'd do it here. Biesbosch is a maze of freshwater creeks and willow forests, one of Europe's last tidal wetlands. Formed after a massive flood in 1421, it's now a haven of biodiversity and peace. You won't hear traffic here, just the wings of a heron, the dip of a paddle, and the wind in the reeds. It's a nature reserve that teaches patience and rewards silence. Step into Zaanse Schans, and you step into a Dutch painting, alive with movement and craft. This is no ordinary village. It's a preserved treasure where wooden windmills still turn, craftsmen still carve clogs, and the smell of fresh stroopwafels dances in the air. Once the industrial heart of the Netherlands in the 18th century, Zaanse Schans now honors tradition while welcoming the world. It's not frozen in time, it's time preserved on purpose. Just 15 minutes from Amsterdam lies Haarlem, a city that feels like a whisper after the capital's roar. Once the center of the Dutch Golden Age, Haarlem still radiates that timeless glow. The Grote Kerk, with its 5,000-pipe organ once played by Mozart, stands at the city's soul. Stroll along the Sparn River, and you'll pass art galleries, flower shops, and centuries of silence. It's where the Dutch mastered stillness and turned it into style. In the far north, Groningen beats to a younger rhythm. This university city mixes 1,000 years of history with neon nightlife, electric bikes, and bold modern design. Climb the Martini Toren, the old tower in the heart of town, and you'll see rooftops from the Middle Ages. But walk a few blocks, and you're inside the futuristic Forum Groningen, floating like a spaceship above a square. Here the old doesn't fade, it reinvents. Most beaches invite you to relax. This one, it invites you to walk across the sea. The Wadden Sea, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a world of constant motion, where the tide reveals secrets every 6 hours. At low tide, you can hike across the ocean floor itself, in silence, barefoot, with just wind and waves as companions. Here, nature breathes in rhythms, and every footprint feels like a whisper into ancient mud. Just east of Amsterdam rises Muiderslot, a castle so classic it looks like it stepped out of a storybook. Built in the 13th century, it once guarded river trade routes and stood against invaders. Today, its drawbridges, armor halls, and herb gardens preserve centuries of Dutch nobility and knighthood. It's more than stone and steel. It's a place where history echoes off the walls and childhood dreams feel real. Tucked near the borders of Belgium and Germany, Maastricht doesn't quite feel Dutch. It feels European. With French-style facades, cobbled streets, and a dialect all its own, this is a city with old bones and a cosmopolitan spirit. It was here that the Maastricht Treaty was signed, birthing the European Union. But it's in the ancient St. Petersburg caves and under the Gothic arches of the Basilica of St. Servatius that the past still whispers. Maastricht isn't just historic. It's historic with a glass of wine in hand. Delft is where blue comes alive, not in the sky, but in ceramics, history, and heritage. Birthplace of painter Johannes Vermeer, this quiet city reflects light and shadow like one of his masterpieces. Its canals are graceful, its streets serene, and in workshops around town, artisans still hand-paint the iconic Delftware using skills passed down through centuries. In Delft, every brushstroke tells a story, and every story is delicate, deliberate, and deeply Dutch. Just outside Haarlem, a rare landscape unfolds. The Zuid-Kennemerland National Park, where sandy dunes ripple toward the sea and forests breathe at their edges. Here, nature contradicts itself. Wind-swept sand meets mossy green. Salt air mingles with the earthy smell of pine, and silence stretches between waves and leaves. You might spot deer, foxes, even wild horses. It's a place to get lost, not just in landscape, but in layers of the unexpected. Before castles, before cities, before even written history, there were the Hunebedden. Scattered across the province of Drenthe, these megalithic tombs date back over 5,000 years. Built by the Funnelbeaker people using stones weighing up to 40 tons, they're the oldest monuments in the Netherlands. Older than Stonehenge, older than Egypt's pyramids. No one knows their full story, but standing beside one in silence, you feel the gravity of time. Eindhoven doesn't just shine, it glows with ideas. Once a quiet village, this southern city sparked into life with the rise of Philips Electronics. Today, it's a cutting-edge design hub where technology and creativity collide. During the Glow Festival, streets turn into open-air galleries of light and sound, proving that innovation isn't cold, it's electric with imagination. Eindhoven doesn't rest on history, it invents what's next. Far in the north, where Friesland begins, stands Leeuwarden, a city with a quiet smile and a rebellious past. Named a European capital of culture, it pulses with creativity, from street art to pop-up poetry. And while most cities have a leaning tower in Italy, Leeuwarden has the Old Hove, a quirky, crooked icon that never got finished and never needed to. This city is proud, poetic, and perfectly content to do things its own way. Water is everywhere in the Netherlands, but nowhere quite like Weerribben-Wieden. This is Europe's largest freshwater wetland, a lush labyrinth of lakes, peat bogs, and whispering reeds. Villages like Giethoorn, with no roads, just canals, feel like fairy tales. Locals glide in boats called punters, and ducks outnumber cars 100 to 1. This isn't nature tamed, it's nature gently navigated. The Netherlands is famously flat, but Valkenburg breaks the rule. High on a hill, the ruins of Valkenburg Castle watch over the southern landscape, the only hilltop fortress in the entire country. Built from marlstone and raised multiple times through history, its worn walls now hold centuries of siege and story. Below ground, a hidden world of caves and tunnels stretches deep. Once shelter, now mystery. Valkenburg doesn't just stand above, it echoes from below. From cities built on dreams, to waters that remember the past, from windswept dunes to stone giants older than time. The Netherlands is more than a place. It's a story written in light, water, and wonder. And as you leave its winding streets and endless skies behind, you realize this tiny country has left a mark larger than borders, not just on the map, but on your heart.